We're back, baby! Welcome all you whole hoggers. It's the Watchpoint Post Show, and we're coming at you live, hot and heavy, from the Blizzard Arena here in Los Angeles. Yeah, we got our Miami Vice on right now. Let's fuck it. I got the whole desk with me. And I must ask you guys a question. There we go. I'm already ruining jokes. Bren, what sign do you have underneath the desk?
Right now I've got the newest addition to the Bren Cinematic Universe, which is a creation from one of my fans. We'll hide the nips because I know people get frantic about that in this country.
Yeah, my mom.
But yeah, I mean, we can add what am I? Texas Bren, Handlebar Bren.
Today?
It's not a bad look.
No, that's
honestly.
Trucker Bren.
I think you're like Bama Bren. You know,
Alabama.
There we go. Bama Bren it is.
That's pretty close.
Bama Bren, what was the highlight of your day?
My highlight bucket was my truck, my jeans, and my girl.
Understood.
Weird, we all had the same highlight. How odd.
So we were on Twitter earlier, and most people voted that Bren had the best mustache.
Really?
But so I feel like you are definitely the grand champion tonight. This was your idea. Where did you get this inspiration?
Poco. And actually a little bit of Monty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a combined effort.
Good answer.
But he looked good. I'm legitimately, I'm mad that Poco shaved it up because I personally, I like the stash.
Oh, clearly it wasn't the problem as well.
No.
Because they lost today.
But maybe we cursed him with drawing his gone stash onto our face.
Let's talk about mustaches over the gameplay. Let's jump in with Poco and Chris, should we? It's the Fusions versus the Hunters. Philadelphia Fusion, of course, losing a Game 5 last night. At the half, it was tied 1-1, and then we loaded up Blizzard World.
What a crazy match this has been, actually. Like, I feel like when you think of sloppy gameplay, there's nothing that fits it more than the Fusion and the Chengdu, right?
It really is, yeah.
Two sloppy teams.
I call it entertaining.
It's chaotic,
It's
mate.
both.
It's pandemonium.
Unpredictable.
Yeah, it's entertaining, it's sloppy, unpredictable. Who knows what's going to be pulling
Well,
out?
both teams have a style where they try and put their DPS in the best position to clutch, and they don't really play a disciplined style where everybody, you know, just plays percentage plays.
Yeah.
They just put Carpet and EQO in places where they can clutch or go on crazy flanks and this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I just, unfortunately, that's a kind of style which can really come back to bite you because, yeah, your backline is going to be very exposed if you're playing like that. And I think that was pretty much very obvious when you, in the end, looked at the stats from the backline there. They didn't really get too much done. So then it's just like who can out-clutch each other. And that was basically the race they were going for. It was Jinmu and Young Xiaolong going up against Carp and EQO in the clutch factor.
Something that we haven't discussed too much as well is that when Philadelphia Fusion were going on this tear in the playoffs last year, there was no Wrecking Ball. That wasn't a hero that existed at the time. And Double Sniper is terrible at being able to kill Wrecking Ball.
Just too much disruption, or what's the issue?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Too much disruption and also very tanky and unpredictable. I mean, previously when we were looking at it last year, you had to run the Winston. And you can just put shots into the Winston from a distance and he can't ever close the gap. Eamon just comes piling in, slamming through them all, pops a bunch of shields, and there's nothing they can do. So he was so disruptive in this match on the Wrecking Ball that they had to switch over to stuff like the Trace and Sombra to be able to deal with it.
Now, if we look back in this series, we opened with Control, we finished with Control. For the first map, they had Bacon Jack. For the 5th map, they put in YXL. and Chengdu wins them both. But I feel like it was Jinmu's Doomfist that I was most entertained by.
Yeah.
Bren, you're a Doomfist hater. Who was the difference maker for Chengdu?
Chengdu, it was Jinmu really setting the pace of the game throughout the entirety of it. I mean, his Genji, he has no fear on that hero. I mean, he fears no one, it feels like. He just, again, dashes into the backlines and just prays to the Lord. Or whatever deity you might believe in, and just hopes for the best. But honestly, an incredibly clutch game from both of these teams in multiple moments.
It could have gone either way, honestly.
Yeah.
And if you look at the clutch factor from the Fusion, the first 3 stages are pretty darn good, especially the odd ones. Now in stage 4, though, they have lost back-to-back game 5s after being perfect up to this point. So the question I have for you guys, is it a meta issue for the Fusion, or are they just falling apart as the season goes on? Because this is now back-to-back losses, 2 game 5s to start week 1.
Well, we have to remember as well, last year when they were going on that tear, there was a period where they were looking a little bit average as well. A little bit before that. Like, they weren't, they weren't magically quite good. They went on this hot spree, right, where they just ran through the playoffs. But this is stage 4. Now, the question is, can they keep up just losing these map 5? Because, I mean, that's going to take a toll on your mental.
Yeah, it's not just map 5s, though. It's map 1 as well. They're losing control. That's the issue here, is that they're not having anything successful on control. I think Carpe on Reaper is not really having the results that they want from him. And also just the style that this team runs just doesn't seem to work when, like, a Wrecking Ball kind of composition is so much better than what they're running with the
It doesn't
Orisa
even
and
look
Reaper
like a
stuff.
style they're comfortable with. That's what confuses me. It feels very much like one of those scenarios where, like, oh, this is working for another team. Let's do that.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
it doesn't really suit their individual play styles all that much.
I
point
just say
I would
put
make-
Carpe on Tracer every game.
Maybe,
That's all
yeah.
I want
mean,
to see.
The main point I want to hammer, though, is the fact that it did take Philly a bit of time to warm up to the point where they were going on a tear in playoffs. And there's still time for that to happen. I wouldn't write Philadelphia off just this much.
Okay.
I mean, the meta's in flux. We don't know what we're going to be seeing. There might be different heroes.
Week 1, rough start for Philly, but they've got 3 more weeks here in our final stage. 4 more weeks, I should say. But we got to talk about 2 other teams that were fighting earlier in the day. That, of course, was the Dynasty and the Shock in the good old-fashioned Nighthawk Router Rumble. The second round, the Shock, the returning champions, going up against the Challenger with a new look here from the Dynasty. Fitz on the Reaper to open things up, and Illicit was in the lineup as the second DPS.
Yeah, but I was also very happy to see a little bit different stuff coming out from Choi Hyobin. We haven't really seen him all that much, if at all, on that Roadhog, and I wasn't mad at it either. I think he did do a lot of work on it. However, the team didn't quite look like they know how to play around that Roadhog, or rather with that Roadhog.
Yeah.
So yeah, that didn't work out for them, but I liked
The
it.
Troy Hog is a little bit cracked, actually. Like, well, he did pull it out in playoffs. And of the times we saw it, I mean, he was just a freak of nature.
Yeah.
It was like something possessed him.
Josh, you were saying at halftime that Architect was the MVP of Anubis. What did we like about the Shock play to close out the first half?
Well, I think they worked really well around him and brought him in particularly for his hero picks of the Junkrat and the Genji, and I thought we would see that on Hollywood as well, but instead we got to see Sinatra's Doomfist, and I love this, because Sinatra's a player where we only really know him as a Tracer or a Zarya. That's all he's played under the crusty system, because those heroes have been in meta. But now we're getting to see the other heroes that he can play as well. Actually played a pretty capable mate and a really good Doomfist.
Well, here's a question I've got for you guys. Is this the scariest team in the league to play up against right now?
I mean, it's got to be amongst them, considering that we didn't expect that much flexibility from, like, a bunch of their players. It's actually quite scary to see them just being able to swap in and out pieces like that, and then each individual piece having so much flexibility. Now, it's not obvious anymore who's going to be playing what when you see the 2 DPS being swapped in.
Definitely not obvious. I'm just slightly concerned that they might fall into this trap that Soul fell into of switching people a little too much. For example, Super coming in for map 4. I mean, he generally only played the Orisa throughout the whole of this game, and that was the majority of the stuff that Smurf was running beforehand. So are they just splitting game time? Do they think Super's better on Havana? I mean, I don't quite get what's going on.
This happened at the start of the year. You got to remember as well. They didn't solidify their lineup until about midway through stage 1.
And then they just started firing people, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, this is the coaching style of Shock. I have faith in the system. It seems to work.
Sure.
So yeah, we'll see later into stage 4.
And there you can see some of the highlights from this match. Smurf on Orisa. Some nice stats there. Choi Hyobin on the Roadhog. 61% hook accuracy, as we touched on a little bit earlier. But let's dive deeper into this roster conversation, because I think it's not just the Shock. We're seeing a lot of teams like Seoul, like the Shock, where you have so much depth. The question for me is, should you be looking for a starting 6, or do you use these early weeks to rotate as many players as possible to find out what is the best solution for your team moving forward? What does the desk think here? What is the proper move if you were coaches?
I think you can make an argument for both versions there. I think there is definitely something to it, to have people swapping in and out, because first of all, it will add a layer of unpredictability if the individual pieces have versatility. Like if they can play more than one hero, then the enemy team is already left guessing who is actually going to be playing what and what kind of style can we expect. But also, it does alleviate some pressure from the individual players, because if you have a starting 6, there is a lot more pressure on the individual pieces, I feel, because they are expected to be able to play a bigger variety of different heroes.
Josh, in fantasy football, you never bench a stud. You got 2 MVP candidates on the Shock. Do you play them both every game, or do you like what they're doing right now?
Well, I mean, they're MVP candidates in the previous meta, and the game has changed so much. So I don't think that's quite fair to say that they'd still be MVP candidates, you know, right now if we had played this version of Overwatch the entire year. So I think the weird one is Super, because Sinatra, you probably want to bench him at times and bring him in just to play his heroes, where he plays really excellent Doomfist or a Tracer that can flex over to Mei, stuff like that. But for me, Super should probably be in most of the time. He probably needs to work on his Wrecking Ball and his Orisa to be fielded all the time, but that's his problem, not really the coaches. They should be trying to field Super as often as possible, and then it's on Super to step up.
All right, well, the Shock have been on top of their game since the start of this season, and I'm not going to start doubting them right now. We'll see what they have in store for us later in the week. Coming up after the break, we'll find out if the Spitfire were back in top form and if the Defiant keep their playoff hopes alive. Don't go anywhere. We got more Watchpoint coming up.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Watchpoint continues as we recap what went down earlier today between the Dallas Fuel and the London Spitfire. 2 teams in our top 12 looking to go into the season-long playoffs. London trying to climb into the top 6, going up against a Dallas team that has definitely been riding the struggle bus throughout Stage 3 and not off to the best start in Stage 4. Outside of this map, though.
Well, I said at the start of the day in the pre-show that you know, there was potential for a bit of rain and some disappointment for Dallas Fuel player. And I mean, the question is, where does this team go from here? They looked pretty good when Timmy was in, when he had this leadership thing. Ooh. But where do they go from here? They seem to sub him out. They seem to start to drop the ball a lot more.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that they have not really played that much of Time Moves, so the sample size is small.
No, but they go off of that like a Reddit user.
Well, they certainly look better when Time Moves in. I do agree with you. I'm just adding that caveat because, you know, people tend to get vitriolic on the internet, but
settle down, Reddit. Josh is calling you out.
It definitely does seem like they need Time Moves leadership and communication. He does dominate the comms when he's in. He's that kind of player that calls a lot. is instinctive and knows, kind of has a read on the game. I don't think they should have ever expected to win this game, though. London looked like they're back to full form.
And so you're harping on the strength of the front line with this London Spitfire. What do you like about their game today?
Actually, everything. I'm very happy to see them back, to their real form. This is the London we knew. This is the potential they all have. We're seeing an incredible strong tank line there with Fury and Gesture, and this meta is playing so right into their hands and burgering them profit, doing exactly what the team wants them to do, which is just popping up, and then the rest is just, history.
Yeah. Well, I said earlier that, it shocked the scariest team to kind of play against. I think London could definitely be up there as well.
Oh, yeah.
They start, warming up like they did in the playoffs, and they were just absolutely dominating every team. They've got it in them.
It's such good coordination you see there. Like the way they actually manage to play with each other on a variety of different heroes now really truly shows. And that's a coordination we didn't see when they were forced to play the 3-3 meta, not to that extent at least.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, well, with London looking so phenomenal, Dallas look equally poor, honestly. They got blasted on a couple of these maps. All three of the ladder maps, honestly, and the beginning of the first as well. So Dallas have got a lot of things to figure out.
All right, now if we take a look at our season standings after this match, you'll notice that we've got a team in the top 6. The NYXL have officially clinched. London currently in that top 6. They've jumped over that bubble line, which means that they would avoid the play-in tournament if they keep this up. The question I have, guys, is London peaking again like they did last season at the perfect time? How far do you expect them to climb, or do they fall out of the top 6 at the end of the stage?
I think given how good they look at the moment and how much the meta seems to favor them, they've got Gesture, Fury, Prophet. All three of these guys could be MVP candidates if we see this, if we saw this meta continue for the entire year. They are certainly going to stay in the top 6, I think. And they should be making pushes to try and contest NYXL at the top of the Atlantic standings. They can't actually reach them, I think, but it will be interesting to see if they can get a higher seed as possible and make a run in the playoffs.
And then we got to talk about the other side. Dallas, you've now lost 6 of your last 7. You're sitting in that 12th spot. You're still in for the play-in tournament at the moment, but today's negative map 2 map differential doesn't help you much. Does Dallas continue to slide, or is this a team that you're confident finishes in our top 12?
Ooh, that's a tricky one, honestly, because we still got a couple of games left.
Josh, not tricky at all? What do you think?
Not tricky at all. They're going down.
You think they're going to be going straight down? You don't think this team could work out anything whatsoever?
Any of you has their schedule in it?
I really don't have much faith. Their schedule is pretty difficult. And when you look at it, they haven't won a game against a team that isn't Justice or Mayhem since April.
It's rough, Josh.
April 28th, May 1st, basically.
Rough.
It's been a minute, but it's been since the Dallas homestand. Dallas fans, don't panic, but get your lighters ready.
Well, I mean,
get some water ready to throw on the fire. There we go. Let's move this on. We got Defiant. We got Justice. More of highlights. Less pucket talking. It's Busan. The Justice start off strong. My boy Corey said, "Watch my Reaper today, son," and he brought it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's looking pretty spicy, honestly. This is a map that the Washington Justice probably should not have won.
I mean, in general, I feel like a lot of the moments when Washington Justice looked really, really good may also have had to do with the fact that Toronto Defiant just kind of threw it.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Certainly on this map. I think as the series progressed, I was more and more impressed with how Justice were playing, which I not usually. So this 2-2-2 meta certainly suiting them. But on Busan, definitely, I think Toronto will be disappointed with what they did there.
And we should mention that God set the map record for ults negated with 4 blizzards eaten in the first map for Toronto's loss.
Very impressive. A little less impressive than eating grabs, and I'm sure we'll see other people set similar records in the future, because you can reaction eat blizzards, whereas you can't reaction eat grabs.
Right.
Well, I will say this. I mean, this team, Washington Justice, bit of a shame, isn't it, now that they're kind of eliminated, because there's a real opportunity for them, the way they were looking. I'm overstepping my boundaries, not even
Yeah? You're not going to hype them up?
No,
Stratus is in. If he was here all season, do they have a chance?
They're playing against Toronto Defiant, and Toronto Defiant have been looking a little bit doo-doo. So, I mean, no.
I am excited for this team, though, because I do think that we're going to see a little bit a different type of Washington Justice, even more so when their Swedish tank line is rolling back in.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see if they're going to play him, those two guys together with Sleepy then. So they will end up with a pretty much all English-speaking lineup, and I want to know where they can go from there.
I will say I was very impressed with Stratus throughout this entire match. Pretty decent Mei play, was able to shut down Tracers and Sombras throughout with really good Icicle aim. and then also pretty decent wall placement too. And then when he was able to pick out his kind of signature pick of the Doomfist at the end, he was coming out clutch repeatedly. It seems like anytime this guy can get the Doomfist out there, he's going to have a huge impact on the fight.
And honestly, he brings so much positivity to the team.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
always smiling, always joking around. He honestly didn't expect to see a whole lot of stage time after seeing him in Atlanta. I think we'll see a lot more of this, man. Stratus popped off today. And of course, the reaction after some of the wins. Just take a look at how hyped this man is.
Yeah, I mean, I love to
He
see
also
it.
got quite the social media thing.
He's a bit of a meme,
I'm not
honestly.
sure
Yeah,
what
he's a
to
bit of a
call
meme.
it.
He's blowing up.
Enjoying it.
He's blowing up. Follow Stratus. Get in there on the first 20,000.
20 is going to be the year of Washington Justice.
Invest
I'll
in
say it.
Stratus stonks.
This is going to be their stage. I'm calling it now. Stratus's play wasn't enough to be in our over-the-top moments of the day. That means we got 5 even better moments coming up after the break.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
We'll see you in Philly on September 29th, but right now it's time to check out your over-the-top moments here at number 5. Who is it? It's my man, Gesture. Look at this accuracy.
Hitting every hand, going back in.
Walker in the flag.
Oh, look at this chat. Absolute Greek athletic dog.
I
Is that John Cena's brother?
I like that. Can we play the one, like, look at Super's elbow. Someone is high-fiving his elbow. You're desperate.
Keep your eyes on the elbow.
Look at the elbow.
Gesture goes for everybody, but Super just walks.
Yeah, Gesture is a man of the people.
Who's the elbow grabber? There it is. Oh, nice. A gentle over-the-top elbow brush. Number 4. Thank you for pointing that out, so we all needed that in our life. Dueling Death Blossoms. Who's got the bigger Reaper? Corey does.
Probably Corey, yeah.
Yeah, Corey.
I really liked how Corey was using his Reaper, actually. There was a couple of times where he got a bit too ambitious with the teleporter, but generally speaking, he's syncing up with the speed boost really well.
Mangachu, some nice ones of his own, but here is Gods dropping 6 ults out of the sky. He's just going to soak them up.
Who's doing the titles for this then, huh?
what?
Who's taking credit for this one? The 6 God? Oh my word. Wow, okay, the Drake reference? Toronto as well? Team Toronto? I'm liking it.
Yep.
I'm liking it.
We got
Whatever they're
musicians
on,
in the back.
I absolutely did not.
Give
catch
him a
that.
raise. Give
Shout
him
out
a
to
raise.
Andrew Vanette. His hat bill is flat. At number 2, we've got Enter the Dragon. It was Prophet.
Yeah, that was
Getting a little help from his buddy Gesture.
You know what, though, as well? Birdring had a bunch of really good Dragon Strikes that were synced up with Holtz later on, which leads me to believe Prophet is doing nothing there, and it's all Gesture.
It is all Gesture.
Oh, at number 1. We give it to Logix. Look at this, guys. You try and insta-lock McCree? Nobody's faster than Logix.
This was so good. I absolutely love this. It's just the disrespect.
Switches heroes, instant flashbang, headshots, and not once, but he gets the Pharah and then the Mercy.
Yeah, the exact same play with the Mercy as well. It's so good.
It's actually beautiful.
Tactical crowd,
Honestly,
baby.
is anyone faster at going in a menu and back out outside of the game? Rust? Probably not.
You know, I've been watching for many years, analyzing people's ability to go inside and outside of game menus, and I think the Logix is number one.
Okay.
He sets the world record. Nobody's ever done that before.
Really?
Yeah, that was
Who's
the
keeping
fastest
track,
anyone's
you?
ever done it. Yeah, I've got stats wizards in the back. They keep
I'm pretty
track.
quick when you throw my games. I'm out of that party ASAP. So I'm
Really
competing.
good at leaving mid-game as well, guys. It gives you a ban. Coming up next, we'll tell you what's going down. We got a fantastic Saturday for you, for real this time. We'll break it all down in the D block after this.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
Sinatra and Tigerman have controlled the point.
There it is. Flame's going to drop in. There was no Trish open to save them. It's 4. Yep. Flanner knew where he had to be, and Trick Open looks around with this, mate. You can't be everywhere at once, but someone had to stop the barrage with a nano boost. It was never going to happen.
For a big fight.
Yeah, looking for the shot, misses on the Violet. An absolutely crucial pick if he can find it. Full hog from Youngjin though. He'll just take down Rascal, now pushes up, looks for Super. And they will be able to find that pick. Youngjin's going to be pulled in. Wraps around, he does the 180 hook on the block.
It's always good.
It's all like we just saw. Valiant wasting no time and jumping right back in there for the aggression. Great move on the Goose Wave. Send into the team, but they've got the grab. Oh man, we've seen that one before. And that is going to be a 4K with the Dragon Strike.
With so much fighting close up. Oh, are you kidding me? An amplification matrix already, and here comes San Francisco. What a shatter! Oh, they don't call it the shock for nothing, Matt.
Come in at the last moment. Luffy lining up, Coma on the Moira now. Here comes DM.
EMP.
The EMP could be the difference maker. Gets it off, and there's the ding with the barrage. EMP barrage will deliver.
And here's a look at the action kicking off tomorrow. It all starts with Paris Eternal going up against the hometown LA Valiant. The Boston Uprising get their first shot here in Stage 4 against the Guangzhou Charge. The Gladiators face off against the Outlaws, and the Rain and the Spark are going to make their Stage 4 debut as well. It's all going down tomorrow. So, Zoe, let's kick this baby off. What are you most pumped for on Saturday?
Like kicking babies off.
Yeah, just this baby. This baby.
This particular one. All right, now go ahead. Then
So he's
that's the
brain's
thing
got
in
You
the
with your
brain.
mustache. Tell us about the baby you're going to kick off. Go
Okay,
ahead.
Zoe with a mustache says, look out for all the debuts. We have 4 teams we haven't seen in this stage so far, so I'm actually really excited to see the Valiant, Boston Uprising, who else was it? Atlanta Rain, as well as the Spark. It's going to be very interesting. Again, same thing. Like, who will be playing for them? What will they be playing? How do they rotate their roster? All of that, very exciting.
And that'll be the majority of the teams in the league we'll have already seen up until that point. It's only the Mayhem where you have to wait until Sunday to see what they're bringing to the table. The one that I really am focused on, though, is the Valiant, because they made this kind of monumental run in Stage 3 to try and save their season.
Yep.
But the meta's changed so much, and they still need to keep it going in Stage 4. If they step their foot off the pedal for a moment, they are still going to slip outside of that top 12 and not going to be able to make it in. So I want to see that continued success from the Valiant roster.
There's one player individual that I'm looking forward to seeing tomorrow. One man is a Kiwi from New Zealand. Ooh, Color Hex, actually. Color Hex was picked up for the Boston Uprising, not for his Zarya play. It was actually for his Widowmaker and his flexibility to be able to play a lot of other DPS heroes. We're now in a 2-2 lock. This should be his bread and butter. If Color Hex isn't popping off, I want a refund. So just putting it out there, I'm looking for big things.
How much did you pay?
A lot of money.
Are you the financier behind the Boston Uprising?
Yes.
Is that why you sold your...
part of the craft group.
Sorry. Anyway, let's move on from that one, guys. Before we go, we got to check in with our Twitch cheerleader board. Both the graphic, please. There it is. The number 1 spot. It's the Atlanta Reign. Surprise, surprise. Guangzhou is coming up on the 4 million mark. We've got New York Excel looking for that 3,500,000. Shanghai is in our top 10, baby. The Gladiators are there, but will the Valiant rise into our top 10? Both in the standings and in our leaderboard? We'll have to wait and find out, Josh. We'll have to wait and find out. I do know one thing for sure. Blackish Bobby was in the building, which means he's probably still at number 6.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Saw that one coming.
Absolutely nailed it.
Who's your favorite name here, Josh?
Mine is ROC Norris. I love the idea of someone from the Republic of China whose name is Norris. I think
Yeah. I'm a big fan
Classic
of
Chinese name.
Mama Shimada. The old, the mother ninja.
the Mama
She's
Ninja.
known. Yeah.
Yes,
Sitting
yes.
at number 5.
Mama Hanzo?
Mama Hanzo.
Mama Hanzo? Mama Genji?
What are the brothers called?
Mamenji?
What are they
The
Shimada?
Shimada Brothers.
Shimada?
Yeah, we're going to
They're not
end the
Shimada
show
Brothers,
on that
are they?
point, and we should remind you guys all that
Really?
the Overwatch League has an all-access pass on
they have a name?
Twitch.tv, and if you get it right now, you get a chance to hang out with the mustacheless wonder. The great Poco from the Philadelphia Fusion is up next exclusively on Twitch.tv. Thanks for watching, everybody. Enjoy the show. We're kicking off bright and early with Malik on the desk on Saturday morning. We'll see you then.
I don't think it's Shimada. I think it is.
I think it is Shimada. For sure.
Yeah, it is.
100%.